Back-to-back videos. What can I say? I want to talk about like a lot of things. I just ended up like going off on a tangent with Hassan and the whole pink tusk mammoth thing, and they left out all this other hilarious news. All right, so let me get into this like fully. So the whole Israel peace deal between with Hamas is going to be one of the most pivotal moments in history ever because it is a defining uh, point part in our lifetimes where the older generations have fully lost narrative control, fully. Okay, almost to a fault. Like I've had my dad talk to me about how Israel is genociding um, the Palestinian people without any evidence and without actually going there. And so you can imagine like the scope of propaganda to reach like the older generations, people in high schools and stuff. Like I aforementioned said the high school in Mississauga. Although you can argue like they want to skip school and shit. So like, why would you want to skip school when you had COVID-19? Like how much of a fucking dumbass do you have to be to want to skip school at this point in time? But like, whatever, right? And I'm chewing gum. Give me a second. Excuse me, ladies and gentlemen. And this peace deal, right, is not only going to fly in the face of advertisers like Fox News. Fox News is actually the news network that went after Asmongold. No wonder The Simpsons had that one episode, like, hating on Trump and shit. Like, that fucking Turkish child rape money, like, it pays for a lot of shit, eh? Pays for your fucking, bitch ass Simpsons episodes. Fuck Simpsons. Fuck South Park. Fuck all these things, man. They got paid the fuck off, huh? So this peace deal is a defining moment because before the peace deal was even reached, right? All these cucked out nations, minus America, not America, they're all saying, okay, look, we have to recognize the statehood of Palestine. We're not going to get the hostages back. We have to basically negotiate with terrorists, which is what they did. They negotiated with the terrorists. Now, what did that gain? What did they gain from that? Well, years and years of your arm getting twisted. I'm pretty sure your arm's a fucking pretzel by now. If we're speaking in metaphors, if they were just like twisting your arm, oh, we're gonna give you your hostages back, we're gonna give you this, we're gonna give you that. They twisted the fuck out of your arm, and the only time that shit stopped is like, look, you give me those hostages back, or I kill you. Okay, that's the only time that shit stops. Now think about that. Who gave us the peace deal? Was it Mark Carney? Was it I don't know who the president of France is. I don't know if it's Macron still. I think it's somebody else. What's his name? Keir Starmer? Oh, fuck no. It was Trump. It was Trump. Of all the people and all the hate that this man is getting, Trump was the only president that got a conclusion to this. So the entire time Joe Biden was president, and this shit happened when he was in office, what the fuck did he do? Oh, yeah, that's right. He was falling asleep. Someone was waking him up. The news and the media was covering for him, much like they do Hassan. And this is like the most pivotal moment in time in our lives. Okay, so let me explain. I'll just, for the sake of not repeating myself, I'll just summarize what I said in the previous video. So two-sided coin. The hostages get released. They say how their treatment was by the Hamas and stuff, and all these journalists fly out to the country, and it's going to be like news for months, probably like years, man. Like you're probably going to hear about this the anniversary next year, 2026, October 7th. You're still going to hear about it, all because of how like polarizing and how the push for automation, right? Many people see it as like an evil. Oh my God, they're going to lose their jobs. How are they going to feed themselves? How are they going to this? How are they going to that? Look, I can sympathize for a percentage of people. Okay, a percentage of people. That percentage of people genuinely deserve my sympathy and the sympathy of other people. But we all know why automation is being pushed. When you have an entire high school walk out because Jewish people died and Palestine needs to be free, okay, that is like they should have people, right? But obviously they're kids, it's against the law, right? But they should have people to make sure anybody from that high school doesn't get a job. Okay? At any time they want to go get a job, oh, I'm sorry. We have like this AI thing that's doing the job for you. I'm serious about that. And then the other ones, the high school that played the Arabic national anthem, okay. This is why we need automation. This is why back in the day when we were watching those documentaries about the prison industrial complex, about how bad it is, and don't kid yourself, there is a lot of corruption in the justice system, right? And there are a lot of false incarcerations, right? That being said, what you're seeing is the opposite of that. The conclusion that people will reach when you understand that if there's no consequence to anybody's actions, then it's free reign. So you have criminals that are just like out of a mild discomfort of a young 23-year-old girl sitting in a seat in front of them. I'm just gonna get up and stab them in the neck. There's this woman sleeping on the subway and I'm an illegal immigrant on welfare. Let me set this woman on fire. And not only did this fucking animal set her on fire, he picked up I think like a jacket or whatever, and he started fanning the flame. He's on video doing this. On video doing this. And you still want these people in here. These are evil ass people. And it's over for them. They can't tell us what to do anymore. They can't tell us that we're bad or good or this. Look what this animal is doing. Hassan is literally going out of his way, okay, to make sure that this doesn't end his career. His career's over. It's over, dude. It's gone. Like the thing that makes me realize how bad he's got it is the fact that on camera, and I don't know if he was doing this to make more drama, and like he's getting paid by advertisers under the table to dramatize his fall from grace, if you will, because it's like when you think about it, he's televised, right? So everyone's going to be watching it, everyone's going to be talking about it, advertisers going to be making a lot of money. Maybe he wants this as his way out. I'm just seeing this as a possibility, because yes, he can be honestly that stupid, honestly that retarded, whatever, right? But it just seems not out of place for me to see that and then say to myself, well, I guess I didn't see that coming, but I'm not surprised. You know what I mean? Like that's how I feel about it. But beyond that, right? And then you have the aspect about I gotta bring this up. It's like, okay, so Mark Carney, Donald Trump had a presidential meeting and nothing was solved, nothing productive happened, except for one thing. And I don't think it's productive. It's just, I swear, dude, it's one of the most pivotal moments in history. See, in Canada, this guy, Mark Carney, he wasn't elected to be prime minister. He was put there nefariously by corporations and the Pfizer Corporation, whatever, like all these people who basically fleeced our government and run the fucking show. And I think he's like a banker or whatever. So he's having this meeting with Trump, and then Trump is like asked about whatever, right? And he's like talking about, yeah, our military is like, so good. We don't allow people in our military who like don't know their gender. We only have 2 genders, this and that. And here's the thing, like people are pretending like Trump doesn't know. Dude, he's the president of the United States. Of course he knows. Of course he knows, dude. Stop acting like the president of the United States doesn't know that Mark Carney's son is a trans whatever the fuck. And he's just sitting there taking it. Oh my God. Just taking it, man. It was like, at one point, because they were both sitting down, right? At one point, he was just like, look, he can see that he's visibly bothered by like the constant onslaught of Trump's, pretend to be oblivious to you. I swear, this is what these adults do nowadays. They act as if, they can't be, criticized or ridiculed for what they do, and then they act out. And then when they get called out for acting out, they pretend like it's not that big of a deal, or people are like this, or people like that. No, you see, these people have been having it their way for so long that this is the end result. They go down crying like spoiled children. Like he's like Hassan is DMing Moist Critical, but he's doing it on camera. Why didn't you just do it off a camera? Like I cannot believe this guy's this much of a retard. He's retarded. Just walk away. You have money. You have people who like you. Like, all you're gonna be doing by making additional content is like ruining the lives of Muslims and Sikhs, and then subsequently every single part of your retard ass bloodline that is associated with you. That's associated with your rise to fame, your fan base, your rhetoric, your cultural beliefs, your religion, your expansion into like the world that does not want you, right? They're talking about re-immigration. Like, what do you think that's going to look like? First, it's going to be the cops, catching, the most dire, the most, dangerous of criminals and like deporting them, right? At first, that's what it's going to look like. Then they're going to come for everybody else. And little by little, right? Those people you see preying on the streets, gone. You see those people who are like, incels. I watched Incel TV's video, and I think he knows deep down inside that all he can do. And it's funny because I said that they were parallel, right? Hassan and Rehab Room, aka Incel TV, are parallel to each other because, again, like, you see this similarity, right? Where both of these people are confronted with this inescapable problem. Incel TV, I don't know where he lives, but he's going to realize that the place that he's living in, right? Whether or not he's romantically engaged with somebody, and he's like just lying about being an incel, but he has to realize that, like, people, especially from his culture, but like overall, they're going to find out the hard way that girls don't like them, like permanently don't like them. Like, you just can't keep coming out with these like incel videos and trying to like cater to your own crowd. Like, sometimes you just have to let it die. And in the case of your entire movement, it's gone for. It's over. It's finito. Because everywhere you go, you guys get made fun of. Everywhere you go, you guys are going to be insulted. You guys are going to be questioned and excluded and supervised. That's it. And like, the thing I always wonder to myself is like, why don't you guys just shut the fuck up? Like, why don't you guys just be quiet a little bit? You can like feel the way that you do and still get your point across when you need to, but like, you don't have to constantly be like this. But the more I thought about it, the more it became clear to me that shit, man, like, you hate your kids, you hate life, you hate existence, you hate women. And I can tell you that these things that you very much know, like, that I'm not telling you these things for my benefit, right? Even though, like, I get off on the idea of, like, insulting you, this and that, whatever. You can argue one way or the other. This is you hating your children, like, in perpetuity. Like, this is something that, like, will be studied by anthropologists, psychologists. Well, probably not psychologists. Like, the whole realm of like that is just questionable at best at this point. But basically, the crazy people are running the asylum or whatever, and that is very much the case with this whole thing. Because, again, like, if this peace deal doesn't come through and the hostages don't get released, and basically Palestine, or what's left of it, gets leveled to nothing, it's a win-win for us. But you're always losing. Like, you were losing from the day you were born, and you'll lose when you die. And what's worse is, instead of making your life, better for your religion, your kids and stuff, like, you look at it like across the world, like, other Islamic countries don't exactly have your problems, and it's mostly because they realize that the dwindling, like, nature of having this religion that forces itself upon basically young men, because women are always forced. In Islam, they're just basically de facto cattle, right? But this religion that forces their men, like, it there's nothing like, think about it like this, like, if you have 2 billion people, right, on this planet, estimated, but of those 2 billion people, and you can extend that to the Sikhs and stuff and say, like, okay, 2 point whatever billion people, or 2.0 billion, whatever, right? Even though you have that number, like, how many cars have you manufactured, right? And how many people around the world drive those cars? And then also, what electronics do you make? What kind of entertainment do you make? Did you know Electronic Arts was bought by Saudi Arabia? And I think, like, Trump's, like, whatever son, or I don't know, whatever son. And so they were coming out with this Assassin's Creed game where you play as this black slave who has emancipated himself and seeking revenge against slave owners in America. And you know what the new owners of Electronic Arts said to that? Nope. Canceled the game and aired it out. Told everybody, hey, this, like, racist ass, like, anti-white game that EA was gonna make? We canceled it for you. And if you would have gotten off playing that game and shit, it was like Power Fantasy. EA, it's in the game. Habibi.